Hello, everybody. I'm GT Schwa. Today we are going to be discussing the AEW Interim World Championship. These are the contenders, at least as far as I see, that I think realistically you could make an argument for why they should be the Interim World Champion. And we are going to rank in a tier list which of them I think is the best option for who can win this battle royale and go on to become the AEW Interim World Champion. This is a brand new channel, so please, if you're interested in wrestling content and AEW content, please subscribe and let me know all of your thoughts on this. I'm sure you're going to disagree completely. That is more than fine. Let me know in the comments below. We're going to get right to it, and I should tell you right now, I put this list together overnight, woke up, and this afternoon learned that Bryan Danielson is apparently injured and is going to be out for like 2 weeks, which means that he's probably not going to be the interim world champion. But with that in mind, I'm still going to keep him on this list because I think it's interesting to talk about how he would be as interim world champion. But let's start first with Jon Moxley, A tier. Easy A tier. Jon Moxley, arguably one of, if not the best AEW world champion we have had so far, really carried the company on his back since the beginning. He has been consistently fantastic, and his work with the Blackpool Combat Club has been downright great. So why isn't he S tier? For me, that is because the AEW Interim World Championship is a chance to make a star, not just to do what we've been doing. You know, Jon Moxley feels like ground we have already tread. He's already been champ. We already know he makes a great champ. I want to see this. This is a great opportunity while Punk is gone, probably for only a couple months, hopefully before All Out, to put a spotlight on someone who hasn't been in that position yet. So Jon Moxley, great choice. He is probably going to get the belt, but I think we could do something a little bit more interesting with it. And, you know, next we're going to his blood brother with the Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson. He's going right along with Moxley at A tier. Yes, he is injured. He's not going to be there for the Battle Royale. But when considering who would make a great interim champion, Bryan Danielson is arguably one of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestler in the world right now. So why isn't he S tier? Well, frankly, because he's going to be champion. It is going to be a cold day in hell if Bryan Danielson doesn't end up with the AEW Championship at some point. And I would honestly prefer to keep the image of him with the belt until the moment that he has earned it and he is getting his real, full title run. So for me, if Danielson were to become interim champ, which he isn't because he's injured, but if he were to, that'd be great. It just wouldn't be as great as a couple of the other names on this list. All right, Adam Cole. F tier. Big F tier. Here's the thing. There are some people that are kind of down on Adam Cole. I am not one of those people. I really like Adam Cole. I think he's charismatic. I love what he does in the ring. He is a lot of fun. But I agree with a lot of people that his run in AEW thus far has been pretty hit or miss. Hit or miss, I'm sorry. You know, he has lost every single major feud he has been in since joining the company. Against Jurassic Express, against Orange Cassidy, against Hangman twice. He got the win with the Owen Hart Cup, and that's great, but and earned because he lost all those prior feuds. But I don't think he's been booked consistently enough to earn him the World Championship. TNT champ, maybe. A triple tag, belts, like the three-way tag belts, maybe at some point when we finally get them. But I think it'd be a jump. I don't think the fans would buy it if Cole was the interim champ already. I hope he is at some point in the future. Hangman Page. Now, this one's complicated. I love Hangman Page. He was very much my champ. As much as I think that Jon Moxley is probably, in my eyes, the best champ we've had. You know, we can argue between him and Omega. Hangman is the champ I was most excited for, and I was most behind everything he was doing in the company. And it's for that reason I was kind of disappointed by his run. I think I was hoping for more storyline, and it felt like a lot of the storytelling while he was champ really was sidelined. The matches were amazing. You know, I don't want to go, I'm not down on Hangman. I think he had a great run still. I just kind of want him to do something a bit more back to basics. You know, I want him to have a straightforward feud, have a great match at Forbidden Door, then have a more straightforward feud in the company, and then we can start building him back up into the championship scene. I'd love to see him with the belt again, but with a story with a little bit more meat on its bones. So Hangman, I'm putting B tier. I'd love to see it, but I don't need it right now. Andrade. I love Andrade. I think Andrade is great, but I don't think there's anyone that would argue against the fact that since showing up, he has been basically the king of the jobbers, and that's fine. It seems like he's having fun in that role. He's consistently doing stuff that is funny or interesting, and it seems that now there's some bigger stuff cooking on the horizon for Andrade, so I'm excited for that. But as of right now, it would seem like a total jump in logic to give him the world title. TNT champ Andrade, absolutely. Do that next Wednesday if you'd like. You can take that belt off Scorp, put it right on Andrade. I think that would be great. But not the interim world champ. I think I'd put Andrade in the C tier. I'd love to see him in that position sometime soon. I think we need to build him a little bit more before we do that. Chris Jericho, F tier. Big, fat F tier. There is not a person on this list who needs the belt less than Chris Jericho. Jericho does not need that belt at all. He was the first AEW champ, and when he was given that champ, I think we all understood he did not need the belt. The belt needed him, or at least that was the thinking at the time. Jericho is fantastic, and while some people are down on him, I really like what he's doing, especially now that he is a heel again. Everything he's doing with the JAS is fantastic. He is endlessly charismatic and great in the ring. His mind for wrestling always brings out something fun and interesting and well thought out. But he does not need this championship belt. He should never hold that belt again because there's too many better options on the list at this point that are just more interesting. So I love Chris, but that's going to be a no from me. Now, on the flip side of this, it is time for my clear bias. Eddie Kingston, S tier. Put the belt on Eddie Kingston right now. I think that it would be a fantastic idea to put the belt on Kingston, specifically because I think that Kingston would allow us to tell a story that you wouldn't really be able to tell with anyone else, except maybe Hangman, which is of Eddie being put in a position where he skyrockets into the main event scene. He wins the Battle Royale. He beats his blood brother, Jon Moxley, who's already on shaky ground with, and then has to battle his own demons, being unsure of himself as the interim world champ, ending in a round 2 of the feud with CM Punk. There is so much you could do with that storyline. And Eddie Kingston, much like how MJF was describing himself, is a wrestler that can make you feel. And I think that would be amazing for him to have a short couple of months in that position. So Eddie Kingston, S tier. Now, let me talk this out. I'm going to kind of talk about Keith Lee and Swerve in the same ranking here because their careers have very much mirrored one another since they have joined AEW. Both of them are tremendous athletes. Both of them are fantastic talkers, and both of them have undeniable star power. I think with both of them showing up, I've heard many people online say, hey, just give them the TNT title. They showed up, they were like, hey, we're going to be a tag team. And for a lot of people, they were the clear choice for who they wanted to win at Double or Nothing. They wanted them to have the belts because they are so good and so capable that you just immediately buy them as champions. But on the flip side of that, in the same vein of what I was talking about with Andrade here earlier, they haven't really won all that much. They've been booked to look very impressive and very intimidating, but they lost their feud against Team Taz, and then they lost in the Double or Nothing 3-way tag match, and Keith Lee lost at the ladder match back at Revolution. Doesn't mean they're bad. I think they're still fantastic, and I know them as talents absolutely deserve the main event scene. But I think it would be a little bit of a jump. Like it wouldn't be bad. It just wouldn't be as perfect as it could be for them to be interim champion now. Either of them can be the TNT champion next week, and I think that would be perfect. But I think for both of them, I'm putting them in A tier. They are fantastic talents. If either of them win the Battle Royale, you better believe I'll be 100% behind them winning the belt. But I think that there are a couple options here that just make a little bit more sense. Malachi Black. This is an interesting one. I guess they're all interesting, but I love talking about this one. Malachi Black is fantastic. He is a great talent, and I think that in terms of his presentation, he is one of the most interesting wrestlers on the roster right now. I love Malachi Black, and I love the House of Black. I'm so glad that their feud is over. They got really stymied with Rey Fenix being injured, and the Julia Hart stuff kind of dragged. The whole feud was kind of spinning its wheels for a while, but now that they have won in a decisive victory, and they've corrupted Julia Hart, I want to see them with a strap. I don't know if the belt we're talking about is the World Championship, though. I think that's kind of jumping the gun a bit. Tag champions, absolutely. TNT champ for Malachi Black, absolutely. If Tony Khan is willing, the trios tag belts, fantastic. I would love it. I think that I am going to put him in B tier, though, because I think it would be a bit of a jump to put him at the main event scene right now. I hope he is there very soon. Miro, S tier, big, fat, maybe the biggest S tier that I'm going to put out. Miro should be the interim world champion. He is the most dominantly booked champ they have ever had, even more so than Kenny Omega, because Kenny Omega still relied on cheating and underhanded tactics. Miro was just a monster that tore through the division and made that belt look incredible. This man has nothing going on right now, not a single storyline to speak of. Just throw him in, give him the belt, skyrocket him. That is, in my opinion, I would love to see it. The only downside is that he might be too good. Punk might come back for his championship run, and people will be like, no, I don't want Punk to be champ. Keep Miro as champ. He's so good. I love Miro. I think it'd be a great idea to give him the AEW interim belt. Now, the final three, the younger individuals of the roster here. Let's start with Darby. I love Darby Allin. To quote Punk, he is the heart and soul of AEW. He is scrappy. He is a fighter. He probably is not going to have a long career the way he wrestles, but damn, he is spellbinding in the ring. And he is a tested champion. He was great as the TNT champ. I think that it would be a great idea to put this belt on him. I'm putting him in A tier. It would be a chance to really have this as a proving ground for him that he is at the level where he could be a main eventer. The only reason it's not S tier is because Darby is going to be champ at some point. We all know it. He is definitely going to hold the world championship. There are some people on this list a little bit further in their career who I think have earned it, who have put in a few more miles, but Darby would be a great choice for this belt. Also, then having to face Punk again, oh my God, that would be amazing. Now for the man of the hour, though. MJF. The man that everyone is talking about. Online, I have seen everyone say, not everyone, a lot of people say, hey, if Punk is injured, give MJF that belt. Here's the thing. Two alternate realities here. Maybe it is a work. And MJ, everything up until now has been a work. If that is the case, then they probably have a better storyline for MJF in the future that they are cooking with taking him off the roster and everything. And if it's a shoot, then he is way too volatile to give the belt. I don't think it's a shoot, or at least I don't think it's a shoot after Double or Nothing. I think I think they shot themselves into a work. And with that in mind, I'm giving MJF B tier. I'd love to see it, but I think I'd much rather MJF get the belt when he takes it off of Punk for a full run as champ. I think this would be doing it a little too early. Now, finally, Mr. Mayhem. Have they ever actually called him Mr. Mayhem? I don't know. Wardlow. Wardlow, for me, is an S tier. He has been booked so well, so incredibly, and it would make it feel like he earned something after that whole feud with MJF. He's not just going to feud with a lawyer for a couple of weeks. No, he is going to plant his flag in AEW and say, officially, I am all elite, and all the effort I put in was worth it. I think Wardlow would be a great pick for the champ. But what do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree entirely and think that Chris Jericho should be champ? You're wrong, but hey, put a comment down below, let me know. And hey, I am GT Schwa. I'm going to be putting out weekly videos on AEW and wrestling and a bunch of stuff like that. So please subscribe to be caught up with what I'm doing in the future. Thank you all very much, and I hope to see you in the next one.